Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This evening's reciters are Swarup Prabhuji for reading English translation and Hemlata Mataji for reading Sanskrit verses, and they'll be reciting from Canto 3, Chapter 24, verses 1 to 16. Later on, towards the end of the session, also we will have Gayatri Mataji and Sandeep Prabhuji who will sing a lovely bhajan for us, and Orpita will read the English translation. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Mataji, will you start with the invocation 3 times, please?
Okay. Hare Krishna to everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Maitre Vacha Nirvedavadinim evam Menarduhitram Muniha Dayaluhu Shalinim Aha Shuklabhivyathatram Smaranam.
Recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kardama replied as follows to Swambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter Devahuti, who was speaking words full of renunciation.
Makhido Raja Putratiham Atmanam Prati Anidite Bhagwan Namaste Aksharo Garbham Adarata Samprapatasyate.
Kardama Muni encouraged his wife not to be sorry, thinking herself unfortunate, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his incarnation, was going to come from her body.
Rishirvacha Drita Batasi Bhadram Te Damena Niyamena Cha Tapodravina Danasya Shraddhaya Cheshwarama Bhaja.
You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith. Through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity.
Satvaya Shuklo Vitanavana Mamakam Yasyaha Chetate Hridaya Granthim Adro Brahma Bhavanaha.
The personality of Godhead, being worshipped by you, will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman.
Devahuti api sandesham Gauravane Prajapatehe Samyak Shraddhaya Purusam Kutastham Bhajaduruma.
Sri Maitreya said, Devahuti was fully faithful and respectful towards the direction of her husband, Kardama, who was one of the Prajapatis, or generators of human beings in the universe. O great sage, she thus began to worship the Master of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart.
Tasyam bahutithe kale Bhagwan Madhusudanaha Kardamam Viryam Apanno Yajgye Agrivadaruni.
After many, many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, the killer of the demon, Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama appeared in Devahuti just as fire comes from wood in a sacrifice.
अवाद्यामस्तदा व्योम्नि वदित्रणी घनः गायन्ति तं स्म गन्धर्वा नृत्यन्ति अप्सरासो मुदा.
At the time of his descent on earth, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians, the Gandharvas, sang the glories of the Lord, while celestial dancing girls, known as Apsaras, danced in joyful ecstasy.
पेतुः सुमंसो दिव्याः खेचरेरपवर्जितः प्रसेदुष्य दिशः सर्वांभासि चामनांसि च.
At the time of the Lord's appearance, the demigods, flying freely in the sky, showered flowers. All the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied.
तत्कर्दमाश्रमापदं सरस्वत्या परिश्रितं स्वयंभुः सकं ऋषिभिरः मरीचिर्यदिभिरभ्यायत.
Brahma, the firstborn living being, went along with Marichi and other sages to the place of Kardama's hermitage, which was surrounded by the river Saraswati.
भगवन्तं परं ब्रह्म सत्त्वेनाशेन शत्रुहना तत्त्वसङ्ख्यान् विज्ञप्ते जातं विद्वानजः स्वराट्.
Maitreya continued, O killer of the enemy, the unborn Lord Brahma, who is almost independent in acquiring knowledge, could understand that a portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his quality of pure existence, had appeared in the womb of Devahuti just to explain the complete state of knowledge known as Sankhya Yoga.
सभाजयना विशुद्धेन चेतसा तच्चिकीर्षितं प्रहासमेणारशुभिः कर्दमचेदभ्यघाता.
After worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart for his intended activities as an incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kardama and Devahuti.
तव्या मे पचिचितितस्तात् कल्पिता निवर्लिकतयः यन्मे संग्रहे वाक्यं भवान् मानद्मानयान्.
Lord Brahma said, My dear son Kardama, since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect, you have worshipped me properly. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me.
ब्रह्मोवाच एतावत् त्वयेषु श्रूयकार्या पितृपुत्रकहे बाढदम् इति अनुमन्येत् गौरवेण गुरोवर्चः.
Sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, Yes, sir.
इमा दुहितरः सत्या स्तव वत्स सुमध्यमः सर्गम् एतं ब्रह्मायिष्यन्ति अनेकदा.
Lord Brahma then praised Kardama Muni's 9 daughters, saying, "All your thin-waisted daughters are certainly very chaste. I am sure they will increase this creation by their own descendants in various ways."
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Are we reading 15th as well?
Sorry, Jai Mataji, is it till 16, right?
1 to 14, Mataji.
Okay.
I think it says 1 to
Till
16.
Okay,
I thought it was till 17.
Okay, I'll read. अतस्त्वं ऋषिमुखेभ्यो यथा शीलं यथा रुचि आत्मज यथा रुचि आत्मजः परिदेहज्ञा विस्त्राणी यशो भुविः.
Therefore, today please give away your daughters to the foremost of the sages, with due regard for the girls' temperaments and likings, and thereby spread your fame all over the universe.
वेदाः माध्यं पुरुषम् अवितीर्णं स्वयमायया भूतानां शेवधिं देहं विभ्राणं कपिलं मुने.
O Kardama, I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. He is the bestower of all that is desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapila Muni.
ज्ञान विज्ञान योगेन कर्माणम् उद्धरं जतः हिरण्यकेश पद्माक्षः पद्ममुद्रा पद्माभुजा.
By the mystic yoga and the practical application of knowledge from the scriptures, Kapila Muni, who is characterized by his golden hair, his eyes just like lotus petals, and his lotus feet, which bear the marks of lotus flowers, will uproot the deep-rooted desire for work in this material world.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you both. It was till 16. I did put it in the chat, but thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji,
yes, we can hear
yes.
you.
Thank you so much, Swarup Prabhu and Hemlata Mataji, for reciting the English and Sanskrit. Very well recited. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everyone. My name is Krishna Govind Dasa. Please accept my humble obeisances. Om Guru Shri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you for joining in today's chat session, 4th of January 2026. I'm just going to share you my screen, and you could just let me know that you can see it, okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay. Today invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskripcha Naram Chaiva Narottanam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamadiraye Tashashru Bhadreshu Nicha Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Mutam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. So we're continuing on the discussion between Kadama Muni and Devahuti. She's the mother of Kapila Muni. And from the previous chapter, the lamentation of Devahuti, we understand that Devahuti, she's very worn out, very tired, very exhausted by serving her spiritual master, her husband, Kadama Muni. And she's desiring to have children. And although she has desire for children, she realizes she's not in a very beautiful condition as she was before, as she was the daughter of the emperor, Swayambhuva Manu. So Kadamba Muni, he actually understands because he's a self-realized soul, and he arranges some facility for her to be back to her normal state. And then he expands himself into 9 different forms and impregnates Devi. She has 9 beautiful daughters. And then even though she has 9 beautiful daughters, she feels very bereft. She feels a bit, in a way cheated. And she asks her husband, it's very well that you've given me these beautiful 9 daughters, but now you're going to be taking sannyas. Who will be taking care of me? Who will look after me? The daughters will eventually get married by their prospective husbands and they will start their own family, but I'll be left alone. Who will take care of me? And I'm sure it's the thoughts of many others who have children and they grow up and their sons get married and they not necessarily abandon their own mothers, but they, of course, have to lead their own lives as well with their new family as well. So Kadamba Muni, he's actually very pleased with his wife, Devahuti, and he actually reassures her. And there's a very beautiful verse that she quotes from the previous chapter, chapter 23, text 56. So she actually mentions that those who do not work, which is meant for, that leads them to religious life, and then anyone who has that religious ritualistic performances, but does not raise them to renunciation, and then even though they've come to that renounced stage, if anyone is situated at that renounced stage, it doesn't lead to him to devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he is considered to be a dead person, even though he may be breathing. So ultimately, you may be performing different religious duties, performing different sacrifices, activities, or forms of renunciation. And if it's not actually meant for pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then it is considered to be a waste of time. It has no sort of purification benefits. It has no sort of spiritual benefit at all because they are done in a mode of ignorance and passion for one's own purpose or for one's own recognition and gaining their own sort of name, form, fortune, glory, etc. So, but Kadamba Muni reassures her that no, don't worry. You carry on with your devotional service, and the Lord will be very pleased and will bestow you with a son. And that son happens to be Kapila Muni. He actually gives a teaching, the analytical study of the soul, or Sankhya philosophy, and he is considered Shakti Aveshavata, an expansion of the Supreme Lord himself. Because Devahuti, of course, she's not an ordinary child as well. Having somebody been born in a womb as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not an ordinary personality, and we understand even Mother Yashoda, she, from a point of the spiritual pastime, she gives birth to Lord Krishna. She's considered to be even greater and even higher than the demigods themselves. That is the potency of the Supreme Lord's will, to have a wonderful mother that allows them to give birth to the Supreme Lord, to perform different pastimes and leelas for the pleasure of his devotees and to annihilate the demons. So now we're going to be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, carrying on with Canto 3, the status quo, chapter 24, the renunciation of Kadamba Muni. And the verse that we're going to start off is 1, and we'll be reading 2 verses from 1 to 4. Samatra vacha nirveda vadinemevam manaduhitara munihi dayalu salinim aha suklabhiya ritam smaran. Translation: recalling the words of Lord Vishnu, the merciful sage Kadamba replied as follows to Swayambhuva Manu's praiseworthy daughter, Devahuti, speaking words full of renunciation. Text 2. Rishi vacha mahakidora putritam atmanam prati anindite bhagavam ste sharo garbam aduratsam prapatyate. Translation: the sage said, do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. Infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gautama Muni encouraged his wife not to be sorry, thinking herself unfortunate because the Supreme Personality of Godhead by His incarnation was going to come from her body. Text 3. Jita Vratasi Bhadram Te Tamena Niyamena Cha Tapo Dravina Daneshcha Shradaya Jaishvaram Bhaja. Translation. You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In order to spiritually advance or to achieve the mercy of the Lord, one must be self-controlled in the following manner. He must be restrained in sense gratification and must follow the rules and regulations of religious principles. Without austerity and penance, and without sacrificing one's riches, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Gautama Muni advised his wife, you have to factually engage in devotional service with austerity and penance, following the religious principles and giving charity. Then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you and will come as your son. Now, I'll recite the invocation prayers. Please do join in. Om Jnana Timandasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshurmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gaurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Maya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakabalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shivishakamitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jarvapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Satya Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasi Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Firstly, I'd like to seek the blessings of Most Precious Master, His Holiness Bhakti Churu Swami, Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Shrimate Bhakti Churu Swami Tinamane, Atu Skopfanacharya, Shri Prabhupada, Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamane, Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Paschacha Desatarine, kindly seeking their blessings and also seeking the blessings of all the Vaishnavas who are listening, so that I can speak of the wonderful glories on the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the Srimad Bhagavatam. May whatever I say be pleasing, beneficial, and truthful, not only just to the listeners and also for myself. Thank you, everyone. So going back to this particular verse number 3. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it mentions about 3 types of renunciation. Does anybody know what the 3 types of renunciation is? Okay, I'll explain in a little while. So first of all, this particular verse is so beautiful. So Gautama Muni is given many instructions for allowing Devahuti to continue in performing devotional service. So first of all, is mentioned about she's taken sacred vows, and God will bless you. We all want the blessings of God. And here in this particular translation, Bhadram Te, may God bless you. And if I just click on this, Bhadram, hopefully you can see this. Does anybody know what Bhadram means? So there's many beautiful words translated for the word Bhadram. So Bhadram means all good, good fortune, auspicious welfare, all benedictions, all prosperity, all good fortune, happiness, auspiciousness, good fortune unto you, auspiciousness. And that's what we pray for. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. May there be peace. Om Swasti, Om Swasti, Om Swasti. May there be auspiciousness. Om Rijitam, Om Rijitam, Om Rijitam, for purification as well. So there's many meanings for Bhadram, just like we have the Bhadram campaign. But the Bhadra here in this particular verse is referred to God will bless you. That's Bhadram Te. God may God bless you. So Kadamba Muni is giving the blessings to his wife, Devahuti. And what does he mention? He mentions several things. He mentions worship of the Lord. So worship the Lord with great faith. How do we worship the Lord with great faith? Supposing Srila Prabhupada has made it very easy in this modern day, by what sort of activities can we do to worship the Supreme Lord? Anybody? What do we all do every day? Jay, Mataji?
Sing the Aarti, offer prasadam.
Yes. 9 processes of devotional service. And specifically, when we worship the Lord, what do we...
Shravan Kirtan,
Yes.
Shravan Kirtan, Padasevan, remembrance, worshipping the Lord, remembering the Lord.
Yes, very good. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam.
Padasevan Dasyare.
That's it. Ajanam, Vandanam, Nasyam. So there are 9 specific processes of devotional service where Prahlad Maharaj is instructing even to his own father, demonic father, Hiranyakashipu. But here specifically, Srila Prabhupada has given the benefit for all humanity by chanting 16 rounds, chanting the holy name of the Lord in this age of Kali Yuga, Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalam. There's no other way, no other way, no other way than chanting the holy name of the Lord. And by chanting the holy name of the Lord, because all the qualities, the attributes, the benedictions of the holy name is non-different from the Supreme Lord. Just like in Shikshashtakam, the second prayer, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recites, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatra Pita Niyamataha Smarane Kalayata Trishi Tava Kripa Bhagava Mamapi Tudeva Midushami Hajani Nanugraha. Oh my Lord, you are so kind and merciful, and you perform all benedictions, all the holy names are in your holy name itself. So there are no hard and fast rules by chanting your holy names. But even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that he feels so fortunate that he has no attraction for the holy name. And of course, all of us, to chant the holy name of the Lord is not an easy thing at all, chanting 16 rounds every day. Even if you're chanting 1 round, that's wonderful. But whatever you do, chant the holy name of the Lord, remember him in his beautiful glory, fame. It's all the attributes are in the name Krishna, and the personality of Bhagavan Krishna is non-different at all. Now, another sort of instructions Kadamba Muni gives to Devahuti through sensory control. In which way does Prabhupada mention about sensory control? What activities do we perform to control our senses? The 4 regulator principles. Does anybody know what the 4 regulator principles are?
No
intoxication.
No intoxication.
No gambling.
Yes, good.
No
intoxication,
meditating.
gambling.
No intoxication.
No illicit sex.
Yes, that's good. Very good. Thank you. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. So all of us are in some ways fortunate because we've been born in a family traditionally following the Hindu Dharma. And generally within Hindu Dharma, we don't eat meat anyway. We follow certain principles, no meat eating. We don't have indulgent in illicit sex because we try and consider ourselves to have a sacred marriage marriage which is lasting in spiritual reunion or union with between husband and wife. Gambling is sort of a thing that's been introduced in the West that people are getting more and more attracted to, and similarly drinking, alcoholic drinks as well, because the facilities are so readily available in the mature world that you could just go to any supermarket and just buy these unnecessary things. In fact, even my daughter was saying she's just started a new job in Barnet Hospital as occupational therapy, and many people feel very confused why she's a vegetarian. And I said, well, there must be some Indian community there, or doctors and nurses who are there, sort of Indian origin. And she said, no, Dad, even they eat meat and drink and do and things which are not so spiritually minded. So we've been very fortunate that although we've been sheltered, many people who come to the West, even though they've been unsheltered by Dharma for many years and the influence of living in India, but still coming into the modern world, the influence is so great that it actually just one sort of wrong association with somebody causes one to go astray in our spiritual path. Because for many, they don't see any reason to necessarily follow certain rules and regulated principles because they feel it's just a tradition, something that's been passed on from parents, from generation onwards. Now they're living in a world where mature life is freely available, indulging in sense gratification to satisfy the senses. The feelings of devotional practice does not really fructify at all, because the reason being is that most of the religious practices we've been taught when we are young is for sort of mature benefit, some sort of removal of inauspiciousness within our life, but nothing on the level of pure devotional service, serving Krishna and Radharani for their pleasure, not for our pleasure, not for our false ego, for our pride and envy. And I'll go a little bit onto that in a short while. So he also mentions religious observances. Which way do we observe religious activities? Anybody? So we observe religious occasions in different ways. Say, for instance, we have wonderful festival days, Janmashtami, Radhashtami, Gopanim, Ramnavami. We're performing religious, participating in festivals, remembering the Supreme Lord, His pastimes, His activities, His deliverance of the conditioned souls. So we're also participating in austerities too, by fasting, by honoring and receiving prasadam as well, doing different forms of tapasya, waking up early in the morning, chanting all our rounds, performing our sadhana. So it's side by side, religious observances, austerities go side by side. Gifts of your money in charity. So in which way do we give gifts of our money in charity from a spiritual perspective? Anybody would like to answer that? Which is the best way that we can give charity in a religious way?
Just
To spread the Krishna consciousness.
Spread Krishna. How would we spread Krishna consciousness?
Distributing books and
books.
Yes, distributed books. But just beyond the, of course, distributed books is very important, but we have to be in a level of understanding that spiritual practice too. Of course, even if you love chanting Hare Krishna, that's enough to preach to other people about the glories of chanting Hare Krishna. But importantly, the beautiful verse that we recite every day, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanya Taicha, Jagatitai Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. So the main activities for all devotees of Krishna is to do Go Raksha and Go Brahmana Seva. So Brahmana Seva, feeding the cows and feeding the Brahmanas. By doing that, that is actually considered to be the most charitable activities. So when you see many devotees who come to the temple, they bring sort of items for offering to the Lord, and that offering is, of course, then offered in the form of prasadam, ghee, rice, flowers as well, different vegetables, fruits. given as an offering to the Lord. Of course, the Lord, by His mercy, when it's offered with love and devotion, He takes that prasad, and when it's distributed, sanctified food, we also nourish our spiritual health as well. And cows, there's nothing more dear to Lord Krishna than the cows, because Goloka Dham is the planet of cows. Krishna's pastimes, when he was in Vrindavan, was surrounded by hundreds and millions of cows. So Goraksha is very important. So whenever you come to the temple, I know sometimes it's very cold, and go to the barn or Goshala to see the cows, maybe not always easy for some of us, but at least make an effort, give a little donation in the form of carrots, feeding the cows in whatever way you can. Even I'm sure most of you, when you go to India, you'd like to go to Goshala and feed the cows, also feed the brahmanas and those sannyasis and special bhaktas and yogis and priests who are dedicated their lives in Krishna consciousness or some sort of seva to devotional practice. Yeah. So just to go on a little bit on about the importance about charity, austerity, and penance, if I could just share with you this particular chapter from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18. Does anybody know what it's called? Here it is, the title, Conclusion, Perfection of Renunciation. So in text 5, it mentions about the different kind of renunciations. So acts of sacrifice is one, austerity, in other words, charity, and penance. So sacrifice, charity, and penance should be performed. So Krishna tells Arjuna, acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. But you have to remember also, whenever we're doing this form of sacrifice, charity, and penance, just like the Dhamma Muni is telling Devahuti to perform devotional service. Why? To please the Supreme Lord. When she pleases the Supreme Lord, she will beget a son. So, text 6, all these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty of Sanapita. That is my final opinion. Okay. So basically, when we perform these activities, it should be done without any sort of level of attachment. Of course, there is some sort of attachment. There's no doubt about it. You know, we want it to be very auspicious when we're performing these activities. We want it to be in a way to discipline ourselves, in a way to teach our children, teach others as well about the benefits of performing austerities, sacrifices, and penances. All these things are not just done out of whimsical reason. We may be doing it at the beginning stages of our life because we feel that, you know, human society is meant for caring for others. Of course, that's always there. And Prabhupada mentions about philanthropical work, working for hospitals, working those for needy. There's no doubt that is very benevolent and purifies the soul, because it's a conditioning of the human nature that we have sentiments for others who may not be so well off as we are. Somebody, say for Christmas time, there may be many homeless people and may want to give in charity to those who are in need, to give a bit of comfort in their lives as well, a bit of food, a bit of sort of warmth, so some sort of facility to make their life comfortable as well. There's certainly no harm in that. But of course, the greatest charity is when you give charity, as somebody mentioned, that charity in giving Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna consciousness is the highest taste. It actually purifies us, not just from a material level of suffering, but allows us to free us from this bondage of material existence, this samsara of cycle of birth and death. And that is our goal. And our goal as well, to purify ourselves, free ourselves from the cycle of birth and death. So just carrying on, chapter 17 of Bhagavad Gita, the title for this is, chapter 17 is the divisions of faith. So when I was talking about charity, austerity, and performance, so does anybody, hopefully, if I just cover this for a short while, the three types of charity given in goodness, passion, and ignorance. If you were given charity in the mode of goodness, in which way would you be giving that charity? Anybody would like to give a guess or an answer? don't worry if it's wrong, because it's also allowed you to think, what would I do giving charity in the mode of goodness? What would you think of doing it?
You are
Yeah.
doing it almost as an offering to Krishna, and
Yes,
without
well,
any expectation or any this thing. So you're doing it just for doing it, and you're
yes.
dedicating it to Lord Krishna.
Very good. Thank you, Sir Prabhu. That's exactly the right answer. So charity given out of duty without expectation, that's the exact word you use. Expectation of return, the proper time and place at a worthy person is considered to the mode of goodness. So that's very good. So when you give charity, you should be giving it without expecting anything in return. Of course, there's always that feeling that we want something in return, but that's actually to help us purify ourselves, to give more for a particular reason. And you shouldn't just do it blindly as well, giving charity for any old reason. Now, if you were giving it in the mode of passion, in what mode would you be giving that? Supposing somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, knock on your door," and they say, "Please give a little donation to this cause or that cause." And how would you feel if you were giving it in the mode of passion? What would your thoughts be?
You are doing it, but you are thinking that you are doing something great, and you are filled with pride for doing it. So maybe that's the Rajasic way of doing the charity.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Sir Prabhu. So text 21, but charity performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for fruit of results or in a grudging mood, said to be the charity of mode of passion. So that actually explains, when you give charities, you may want to give it, but I know many of us, we've been in that situation where beggars keep coming and hassling you when you're in India, when you want to sort of pray, go in pilgrimage, and you're performing your duty, but sometimes they disturb you and keep following you again and again. But it may not be even beggars, it may even be people wanting to sell something. I know when we went to Jaipur just recently, we went to the palace and some people wanted to sell some souvenirs to us, and we kept on saying no, no, no. But they have really sharp memories, because when you go inside the palace and you come out, they still remember exactly who you are. They come and badger you again and again. And I do recall one time I said, "Look, I don't want to take anything. Let me just give you some money." And that person actually refused. He said, "No, no, no, I don't want just the money." So he had a good reason. He didn't want to just take something, but he wanted to sell something so it could be a bit of a livelihood. But sometimes when they start making up stories, like this particular person was like 50 years old, they say, "No, I need some money to go to university to study." And they're just lying or saying, "I've got so many kids to feed," and all that. We all have kids to feed. But you want to give it for a genuine reason. Just like when you go to a temple, it's your duty to give something in return. The reason being, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, if those who actually go to a temple without giving a little bit to the brahmanas, to the temple, then whatever benefit that you get would be actually not be of any justification. In other words, he's saying that you shouldn't just go to a temple without giving something to the Lord, because first of all, you go in there seeking his darshan, you're seeing the devotees are non-different from Krishna. Those who are dear to me are very dear to my devotees. Those who are very dear to my devotees are very dear to me. So we have to serve the devotees. We have to give a little bit. And when you think about it, we spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds traveling, going abroad, finding a really good accommodation. We spend a bit of money, justifying ourselves, go to restaurants and so forth. Just give it a few rupees here and there. It doesn't really harm us at all. It won't break our bank balance. But of course, you have to think relatively about what you earn as well. And of course, not overindulge yourself, giving it because, oh, look, if I give, then everybody will come and, look, I'm giving something because I want to show myself as a pious person. But you give it a way that you feel within your heart what you can give. Okay. But giving some Lakshmi when you go to a temple is very important. Or some fruits, flowers, some sort of offering. Even just like when you perform a yajna, a priest performs a yajna, some prayers on your behalf, They may haggle you and badger you, but still out of your heart, just give something just to purify, benefit that particular project. Of course, don't be followed blindly where somebody's just hassling you for thousands of rupees. I know we've all had that experience. And they sort of do a performance and they say, okay, give me so much rupees. First of all, you have to justify yourself. Okay, look, I don't mind you doing a puja, but tell me how much I give you. I give you in front. This is how much I'll give you. And just leave it at that. Don't let them come and chase you as well, because otherwise they'll spoil your whole mood. Now, what about if you were given in the mode of ignorance? What would your mood be if you're given charity in the mode of ignorance? Okay, just for time, I'll just read it. And charity performed at an impure place, at an improper time, to unworthy persons, or without proper attention, suspected said to be the mode of goodness. So this is something which I sort of mentioned, because when you're performing charity, it's your hard-earned money. You want to utilize that money that you've what you could use for your own children, for your own sort of spiritual spiritual advancement. I know at the moment there's many WhatsApp messages, please donate for this cause, for that cause, for this temple, for that temple, for this project and that project. And you just give to your ability. I know when I asked recently, because of my tax returns to HMRC, I had to show what my charity declaration was. And when I sort of asked Bhaktivedanta Mana, the administrators, could you give me a breakdown of all the donations I've given? And I was quite shocked to see how much I've actually donated. And certainly, I still want to carry on donating because I felt Bhaktivedanta Mana, the lordships, the beautiful lordships, Radha Gokulananda, have allowed me to give me a beautiful home where I live, where my family could be raised, have a temple where I could invite devotees, have an altar set up. Because of Prabhupada's teachings and process of giving Krishna consciousness to me personally. And I was thinking, if I was born in Kenya, Nairobi, and when we came to the West, we were very fortunate to meet up with the devotees at a young age and coming to the temple in the mid-70s onwards, meeting Srila Prabhupada and many of the devotees who spent many of their hard, their own valuable time cultivating us, bringing prasadam to us, giving us spiritual books, and allowed us to be in a position where Krishna's also given me a wonderful job where I could actually contribute towards different projects around the world. And in that way, do your little seva, whatever you can, serving Radha Gokulananda, serving Radha Landaneshwara, serving a temple, which is of special benefit. Just like my father and mother, they used to give a lot of money and charity to many temples in India, to the villages, to the orphans and widows. And also myself, I used to give a charity in to other projects as well, like for the orphanage, for the blind, for other projects itself. But what happened was, afterwards, I was realizing that a lot of this money may be misspent. And just to quickly give you a glimpse, I don't want to put anybody off. When I just put into Gemini, like GT chat, give me a list of salaries earned from the top 10 charity directors from donations given by people, and you'd be very shocked. Some of the directors from top charities are earning like £1.2 million, like the Wellcome Trust, £580,000. One of the donations I used to give a lot to was Save the Children, £285,000, £300,000. And many other charities, these CEOs and directors are earning quite a lot of money of your hard-earned money. And if you're a charity, of course, you need somebody to expand the charity in a way that allows marketing strategies to continue with a benevolent cause. So there's nothing wrong with it. But certainly, I would also question, is that salary that they're earning, is that justified? And I asked another question. Out of a pound donated to a legitimate charity, what is actually used in charity contribution? And it's 60p to 90p. So if you give £1 in a legitimate charity, 60 to 90p would be used for charitable cause. So if you give £1 for Krishna's cause, it won't be just £1. The reward will be unlimited. Just like a few weeks ago, we mentioned give me examples of devotees or great personalities who gave or sacrificed their life for Krishna. What rewards did they get? And somebody mentioned about the fruit vendor who saw baby Krishna giving some handful of rice as a barter to the fruits that she was selling. She gave all the fruits because she saw how beautiful Lord Krishna was as a little child, little infant, holding this rice which was falling from the clasp of his hands. And she fell in love with pure devotion. And when she turned around, she saw her basket full of fruits turned into jewels, and you can't compare that sacrifice that you give to Krishna. Of course, it's not just based on monetary funding of serving Krishna, but as Prabhupada mentioned, if you ever have money, his Guru Maharaj told him, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, print books. And if we didn't have books, then certainly most of us won't be able to understand who Lord Krishna is. It'd be like a hearsay sort of tradition, folklore story, a bit of entertainment. Krishna killed all these demons, but we wouldn't really understand the essence of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the transcendental, beautiful sun that has risen during the age of Kali. So this is just a little example that I wanted to share with you. So also just be careful when you give donations as well, just because there's so many scams, so many sort of causes which aren't really trustworthy places at all. This is your hard-earned money, so be careful. Get advice from some authority, somebody that you can trust, a financial advisor, accountant, before you give any of your hard-earned money as well. Now, just go to chapter 7, just regarding penance as well. So just for time, I'll just quickly read this. Penance performed out of foolishness. So penance, we were talking about austerity. Kadama Muni was telling Devahuti to perform penance, performed out of foolishness, to self-torture, or to destroy or injure others. It's had to be the mode of ignorance. And that's exactly what Hiranyakashipu was doing. He was performing because he wanted some status, he wanted some sort of ability to become powerful, but he was doing it in the mode of ignorance. And Lord Brahma granted him many boons, that he would be not killed by any weapon, he would not be killed in the land or the sea, he would not be killed in the air or so forth, or by any sort of demigods. But of course, the Supreme Lord, in the form of Lord Nishikadev, bypassed all the boons that Lord Brahma had given to Hiranyakashipu and devoured Hiranyakashipu just like a wasp. So charity, given that, I think we read that part. Oh, this is the part. The threefold charity power with transcendental faith. This is text 17. Transcendental faith by men not expecting material benefits, but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme, is called austerity in the mode of goodness. Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be the mode of passion. It's neither stable nor permanent. And this last verse, which I read earlier, penance performed out of foolishness, self-torture, to destroy or injure others, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the purport. So here, Kadama Muni is mentioning to Devahuti about the different qualities that she should carry on and perform in different activities and to attain by pleasing the Supreme Lord. Just for time, I'm just going to go to text 4 now. Satvaya ridita shuklo vitanva mamakam yashaha chetate hridaya grantim udaryo brahma bhavanaha. So translation, the personality of Godhead, being worshipped by you, will spread my name and fame, will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son, teaching knowledge of Brahman. When the Supreme when the Supreme Personality of God comes to disseminate spiritual knowledge for the benefit of all people, it generally descends as the son of a devotee, being pleased by the devotee's devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the father of everyone. Therefore, no one is his father. But by his inconceivable energy, he accepts some of the devotees as his parents and descendants. It is explained here that the spiritual knowledge vanquishes the knot of the heart. Matter and spirit are knotted by false ego. This identification of oneself with matter, which is called Hridaya Granthi, exists for all conditioned souls, and it becomes more and more tightened when there is too much affection for sexual life. The explanation was given by Lord Rishabh to his sons that this material world is an atmosphere of attraction between male and female, that attraction takes the shape of a knot in the heart, and by material affection it becomes still more tight. For people who hanker after material possessions, society, friendship, and love, this knot of affection becomes very strong. It is only by Brahma Bhavana, the instruction by which spiritual knowledge is enhanced, that the knot in the heart is cut to pieces. No material weapon is needed to cut this knot, but it requires bona fide spiritual instruction. Dharma Muni instructed his wife Devahuti that the Lord would appear as a sun, disseminate spiritual knowledge to cut the knot of material identification. So this knot in the heart is due to material desires, due to material affection, that attraction between male and female, which we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, is very, very strong. That is the basis of the whole material world. And Sri Prabhupada himself mentions if there was no enjoyment in sex life, then this progeny of life would not carry on, whether it's plant species, whether it's animal species, bird species, any kind of species of life, human form of species of life. If there was no attraction, then certainly there would be no continuation in progeny. But when that control of desire is, or that desire is controlled in favor of, for the purpose of Krishna consciousness, as Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious activities. So in other words, anything which is done for religious purpose, for begetting Krishna conscious children, then certainly that is actually being authorized. And in fact, it mentions about even for a devotee in the form of sannyas, he does not ignore these performances of the marriage between a man and a woman, and it's his duty to perform those yajnas in order for them to get that spiritual benefit. He's not doing it just for show. He's not doing it because there's attraction for him. His duty as a sannyas is to be detached from any sort of connection to any women. But in order to allow the family of Krishna consciousness to grow, then he is able to conduct certain ceremonies to give initiations to women, to allow some sort of activities in allowing the devotee to give confidence, spiritual guidance, spiritual motivations to ladies. Because in the material world, of course, there's this level of equality, which we were talking about a few weeks ago. But it's important that the women are just treated just like the way the men are in the spiritual activities. And we were having a wonderful discussion today with a wonderful Maharaj, His Holiness Pachu Charu Maharaj from Mayapur, Pravikacharya Maharaj, and it was mentioned about the importance about the role of a woman is not different from men from a spiritual perspective, but at the same time, the male dominance is only for the benefit of protecting the women as well. Just like a mother may protect their children, but the children, when they grow up, it's the duty of the son to protect the mother. But also, when a daughter is married, the protection is done by the protection of the husband itself. And when the lady becomes very old, then the son-in-law or the son also protects the lady, the form of the relationship, in order for them to be protected in a society that allows them to continue the Varnashram system. I think I've covered everything. I just mentioned as well this particular word, Brahma Bhavana, is similar to Brahma Buddha Prasanatma, that self-realized stage. It's the instruction by which spiritual knowledge is enhanced. But when you have that level of Brahma Buddha Prasanatma, then you should also be on that level of purification as well, to pass on that knowledge, to free that knot which is in our heart. And that knot in our heart has all come through envy, because we think we are the doer of activities. As in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains to Arjuna that verse, The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities which are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. So we have to ensure that we don't actually think that we're actually the doer of our activities, but it's governed by the three modes of material nature. But ultimately, we all have some actions towards some activities that we're doing, but ultimately the Supreme Controller is the Supreme Lord. But that desire that we have, that desires, sensual desires, that sense gratification desires or material desires, should be really cut straight away. And that is done by spiritual activities. And as we mentioned, charity, austerity, and penances. Charity, austerity, penances. Yes. Thank you very much for listening, all of you, and please forgive me for any mistakes. And certainly forgot to mention Happy New Year to all of you as well. Yeah, capacity baby particular Pavnibio, Mr. Visual Namo Namaha. I'll pass it to Namrata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Happy New Year as well, Prabhuji. Thank you. Beautifully explained as always, Prabhuji. Haribol. So, Prabhuji, for today's bhajan, we have our dear Gayatri Mataji and Sandeep Prabhuji, who will be singing a beautiful bhajan called Gauranga Bolite Habe. But before they sing, we've got our dear Orpita to do the English translation, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. Orpita, you here?
Yes,
Mataji.
Okay, Haribol, when you're ready.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Translation. When will that opportune moment come to us, when there will be shivering of the body as soon as we chant Lord Gauranga's name? While chanting Hare Krishna, when will there be tears in the eyes? When will I obtain the mercy of Lord Nityananda Chandra? When, by his mercy, will the desire for material enjoyment become very insignificant? When the mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desires, then I shall be able to understand Vrindavan and the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, and then my spiritual life will be successful. When shall I very much eager to study the books left by the six Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunatha Dasa Goswami? By their instruction, I shall be able to properly understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. My only aspiration is to attain the lotus feet of the six Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunatha Dasa Goswami. Narotta Dasa constantly prays to attain their lotus feet. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you so much for the wonderful recitation, Orpita. Gayatri Mataji and Sandeep Prabhu, when you're ready. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Matajis and Prabhujis, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to sing today. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite nayane babenira.
Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite nayane bhavenira.
Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite nayane bahenira.
Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बावे नीरा
आर कबे निताय चंदर करुणा होइबे संसार बसना मोरा कबे तुच्छ हबे
आर कबे निताय चंदेर कोरोना होइबे संसार बसाना मोरा कबे तुच्छ हबे
गौरंग बोलीते हबे पुलक शरीरा हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बाहे नीरा
गौरंग बोलीते हबे पुलक शरीरा हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बावे नीरा
विषय चरिया कबे शुद्ध अभिमाना कबे हम हेराबो श्री वृंदावना
विषयचर्या कबे शुद्ध बेमाना कबे हम हेराबो श्री वृंदावना
गौरंग बोलीते हबे पुलक शरीरा हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बाहे नीरा
गौरंग बोलीते हबे पुलक शरीरा हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बावे नीरा
रूप रघुनाथ पदे होइबे अकुति कबे हम बुझाबो से जुगल प्रीति
रूप रघुनाथ पदे होइबे अकुति कबे हम बुझाबो से जुगल प्रीति
गौरंग बोलीते हबे पुलक शरीरा हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बाहे नीरा
गौरंग बोलीते हबे पुलक शरीरा हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बावे नीरा
रूप रघुनाथ पदे रहो मोरा आशा प्रार्थना करे ओ सदा नरोत्तम दासा
रूप रघुनाथ पदे रहु मोर आशा प्रार्थना करो ये सदा नरोत्तम दास
गौरंग बोलीते हबे पुलक शरीरा हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बाहे नीरा
गौरंग बोलीते हबे पुलक शरीरा हरि हरि बोलीते नयने बावे नीरा
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Nittai hai gaura hai, Nittai hai gaura hai,
Nittai hai gaura hai, Nittai hai gaura hai.
Nittai hai gaura hai, Nittai hai gaura hai,
Nittai hai gaura hai, Nittai hai gaura hai.
Nittai gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai gaura Hari Bol.
Nittai gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nittai gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai gaura Hari Bol.
Nittai gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Nittai gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai gaura Hari Bol.
Nittai gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai gaura Hari Bol.
Nittai gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful Mataji and Prabhuji, beautiful.
Haribo, beautifully sang, Mataji. We could have just, you could have just kept singing whole night. It was Mataji, Prabhuji. Oh, glories to your service. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you for
Hare
giving us-
Krishna.
Hare
Some
Krishna, so beautifully sung, Mataji and Prabhuji,
Yes.
so melodious, so blissful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Gayatri, Mataji, and Prabhuji, are you able to turn your screen on so we can see you?
Sure, Prabhuji. Just yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, wow. Are you both Bengali by any chance?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji, we are from Karnataka.
Karnataka. Oh, really? So where do you live?
We live in Canada, Prabhuji.
Okay, yes. I recall you sang last time as well, but both of you, oh my gosh, I know I should say too many words, otherwise it makes you feel proud. But certainly when devotees sing, people have different voices and different tunes. And certainly when you hear somebody sing and it strikes a chord in your heart, you feel, wow, who are these wonderful people? It just reminded me of when I used to listen to Jagat and Chitra sing in the early 80s. So please continue that wonderful singing, Prabhuji and Mataji. It's really nicely sung. Thank you so much. And joining us all the way from Canada as well. So thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you in person at Bhaktivedanta Manor or ISKCON at UK whenever you get a chance.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
we want to come and visit once to see Radha Gokulananda and Landaneshwar as well, Radha Landaneshwar. So hopefully
yeah.
one day it will happen. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, definitely. Are you in Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa?
Victoria, Prabhu.
Victoria, very close to Vancouver, Prabhuji. On Vancouver Island.
We are on island.
We are on the island Victoria, but Vancouver is very close, one ferry away from our...
Okay, yeah. Oh, so nice. Well, thank you. Carry on. I thought you were Bengali because your pronunciation was very nice. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Just listening from all the devotees, Prabhuji, like Swarup Prabhu and Gaurangi Mataji, and that's how I guess. That's how. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Please accept our humble obeisances too from the Mana devotees. Sorry, keep saying Mana. Sorry, it's not been prejudice. It's just that I've lived, with Bhaktivedanta Mana and Radha Gokulananda for the last 45, 50 years. So, please, thank you very much, and everyone as well. Have a wonderful week ahead of you, and hopefully see you next Sunday as well. Panchakapa, Dharvishya,
Kripa Patitanam Pavanam Namo Namaha.
Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.